versatile.
Yeah, it's versatile. It's being used everywhere in pre-season as a left back to start with in El Clásico in the USA Tour, as a right back as well in the Super Cup final. Obviously, he's a centre back. He's super experienced, very reliable. Obviously, he needs to get used to play for Real Madrid. It's very different to the way Chelsea used to play with him, with those three centre backs. Alongside Nacho, no doubts about him. We know that he's going to be, spot on as he always is. But three changes in defence. There's always a risk, 3 out of 4. 2 changes in midfield. Well, that means that Ancelotti trusts the team fully. My only doubt is if Aurélien Tchouaméni will be the holding midfielder, because that would be adding pressure to him, because it's competition with Casemiro. Toni Kroos has already played there. Last season, remember Camavinga playing there and being subbed 3 times at half-time. And maybe, as a new Real Madrid player, wouldn't be the best thing to do, but that's his position. Let's see what happens if it's Kroos or him playing in front of the defence.
Let's go back to the Powerhorse Stadium and speak to Jamie Easton once more. The atmosphere must be building. Very nice, Jamie. It's a sellout there tonight, isn't it? So everybody absolutely delighted to be back in La Liga Santander and to have the champions Real Madrid visiting as well.
Well, everybody here has been waiting 2,640 days, Phil, to watch a La Liga Santander game in action again. There was a huge party on the 31st of July, inauguration of this renovation of this Powerhorse Stadium, which looks amazing. No tickets available for tonight. They have been sold out, and we'll see what happens tonight in a game that is a bit difficult for the local manager, for Rubi, because he still doesn't know which players he will have throughout the season. Obviously, Umar Sadiq, the star, the goal scorer last season in La Liga Smart Bank, is meant to leave and live in the club. 30 million euro, which will be an all-time record. Rubi, by the way, has never spent 2 consecutive seasons anywhere, so he wants to be the first to do that here in Almeria. We'll see how it goes for him. Let's listen to what he said ahead of tonight's game.
I'm happy to be back to the nicest tier of football, which is the Spanish top flight. Let's see if we're able to stay up and we can enjoy, even if we struggle. In our starting 11, there are 10 players making their debut in the Spanish top flight. Except for Rodrigo Eli, none of them have played in the Spanish top flight. It is indeed a massive opportunity for us. If we're capable of playing a good game and beating our opponents, it will be something that we won't be able to forget, even when we're old.
Almeria manager Rubi, who knows his side are in for a difficult evening and for a difficult season if they're going to stay in the Spanish top flight. Let's have a quick word about the world's best player, arguably. Karim Benzema was certainly the top scorer in La Liga Santander last season with 27 goals. He's going to be 35 in December, but he's getting better the older he gets.
Does arguably means that somebody's arguing?
Apparently, there are. Some people like to argue him.
No, he's the best player in the world, isn't he? I mean, Mbappe himself has said it. If he doesn't win the Ballon d'Or, that will confirm everybody's thinking the same. Then he should stop being part of the Ballon d'Or, Mbappe says. He's got absolutely everything. I saw him in Helsinki. He's sharp as well. I mean, you would expect, with his age, pre-season will start him, or he wouldn't start as sharp as he is at the moment. Everything goes through him. Everybody looks at him when there is a need to find an opening or to just find somebody to finish things. The link to Vinicius is growing. It's good to see that Vinicius starts the season in the lineup as well. He didn't last season, but it's partly down to the fact that just up front, with Valverde as well, everything is in harmony, everything is working very well. As I said, all around Benzema.
And that partnership with Vinicius as well is something to watch out for this season. Last season it flourished, and that's only going to get better as well.
I think it's only going to get better. I think that the more they play, the better they're going to get. With Karim Benzema, there's no doubt, best player in the world is going to get the Ballon d'Or. That's for sure. And for Vini, now is the season to establish himself as a natural goal scorer, as a provider. And I think that we're going to see the best version of Vini once again.
Kickoff at the Powerhorse Stadium is 10 minutes away. It's the final game of the day. Almeria against Real Madrid. Enjoy the first half. We'll be back at the break for analysis.
this September in the UEFA Nations League, live on Premier Sports.
Dembele getting away, cuts it square, 1-0. Fabulous goal. Memphis Depay with the strike, and that is the first time we've seen Ousmane Dembele get away from his man. You were asking to see that, chappie, and that's what we got.
Melamed maybe thinking about the shot, hits it well, hits it brilliantly, and what a goal! Nico Melamed with a beauty to level for Espanyol. What a brilliant goal.
For 2 centimes, Canales, good assist, the chance for Juanmi. For Real Betis, what an assist from Sergio Canales and Juanmi.
Nicely played over the top, and there's the opener. And it's Barcelona's goalman, Memphis Depay. It took a shade under 25 minutes, and Barcelona take the lead. They've been knocking on the door. Fabulous goal from Jordi Alba! That is astonishing! What is it about these games between these two clubs that give us moments like that? Jordi Alba with an absolute rocket. I don't think anybody in that penalty area saw that ball hit the back of the net. It was astonishing from Alba.
Good ball, chance, Kike Barca, oh what a classy finish, brilliant goal, and Osasuna go in front. Wonderful finish from Kike Barca, his second goal of the season, lofted over Diego Lopez.
WinBet, featuring live streaming of Irish and UK horse and greyhound racing. We bet you'll love it.
Madrid take on the team who won the Segunda División last season, Almeria. So a kind of mini Super Cup of La Liga's own to get the season started for the two champions of the top two divisions. So Real Madrid obviously coming into this game with morale as high as it possibly could be. La Liga winners, Champions League winners, but Almeria will be determined to make their mark as well. And what better way to start this season than with the man for this meeting of champions and champions. If there was a pundit's champions, this man would be a contender. Andrea Orlandi, good evening to you.
Well, thank you very much, Andy. Good evening, everyone. Well, what a game and what a way to welcome La Liga Santander back to the Powerhouse Stadium. You said it, La Liga's back champions against the champions of everything, really. The Champions League, the League, the European Super Cup. A fascinating game, obviously. An Almeria side still under construction, like Ruby said during the week, with these two men we've seen here, Ramazani and Umar Sadiq, still at the club, so they will be starting against Carlo Ancelotti's side. I'm sure that we will see an Almeria that will go for it, because this is the spirit of teams managed by Ruby. But obviously, they have to face Real Madrid, and we all know what Real Madrid is capable of.
And a guard of honour sportingly being given by Almeria to the reigning La Liga champions as they take the field. I wonder if Real Madrid are going to return the honour, because after all, as we've said, there are two champions here. So we could have rightly two guards of honour. But no, we're in La Liga Santander now, and it's this competition which Real Madrid won. And their prospects, of course, looking very good for the new season. They've made a couple of good signings, and both of them starting. Will run through the full team shortly, but Antonio Rudiger and Aurelian Tchouameni both in the starting lineup today for Real Madrid. For Almeria, they've had some selection issues. You may have heard about the issue of registering players this week in La Liga. Not just Barcelona effective, Almeria as well haven't been able to register their new players. Only one of them, in fact, 18-year-old Brazilian defender Kaique. He's the only new signing registered, and he is starting. So what a challenge for him. Ruby going for a back five today with Kaique in the middle alongside Rodrigo Eli and Serdan Babic. The wing-backs Sergio Akieme and Chumi. In midfield, Lucas Robertoni, Samu Costa and Inigo Eguaras. And up front, those two, the danger men, Ramazani and Umar Sadiq. And 10 of those players, Andrea, were involved. 8 of them started the final game of last season in the Segunda, and two of the others on the bench, with only Kaique as a new face. So they know each other well, these Almeria players. They know how to function as a team. Yeah, absolutely, and they were a very good team in La Liga Smartbank. You said it, 8 of their players were starting the final game of La Liga Smartbank, but I can tell you that they've got enough quality to perform as well at the top level. A few players that I want to highlight: Samu Costa, a fantastic left foot, great physicality as well in midfield. Robertone, legs and quality, playing as a number 10. Let's see where he plays today, probably in a midfield 3 alongside the Guaras. And Kaique, the youngster you were talking about, the only signing they were able to register, 18-year-old, 7 million signing from Santos. Everyone's been speaking highly about him. A very good pre-season, so tonight up against Benzema is a good test. Not a bad way to start your La Liga career as we look at the Real Madrid lineup. Carlo Ancelotti has promised there will be more rotations this season from him, and that is the case straight away, with Rudiger and Tchouameni in the starting lineup. Eduardo Camavinga as well, with Lucas Vázquez right back. We will have a moment of silence before we get underway for the Almeria club members who've passed away since the end of last season. Just before we get underway, Jamie Easton is pitchside for us. Jamie, hot and humid down there?
Hot hot and humid, as you perfectly know. This is the southeast of Spain. There's the Mediterranean Sea here, so that's because of the humidity. Andy, it's 10 p.m. at night in Spain. It's 31 degrees Celsius right now.
So a challenge for those players to maintain physical intensity. It will start to cool down as we move towards midnight, which is roughly when this game will end. It'll be interesting to see the approach taken by Almeria. Will they go for it, as Andrea Orlandi suggested, or does the fact they're going in a back five mean it'll be a little bit more conservative? We are underway, and here's an early touch for Kaiki, the new signing, the only new arrival for Almeria who's in the team today, available today. The others not registered yet.
Well, Andy, a back five is defensive if you approach it that way. Obviously, if you want to have the ball, using three centre-backs who are good on the build-up, if you have your wing-backs, pushing forward, then it's not a defensive system. Obviously, against Real Madrid, we all know what Rubi tries to do. He wants to have the ball and impose, his rhythm of playing. They're playing against one of the best teams, as Sadiq is already in a very good position.
Racing away down the left, a good position, but because he was offside, so the flag going up to break up that move. But just a word or two on Sadiq for people who don't know. He's lined up to move. We see was actually onside there as he made the run. But the club owner, Turki Al-Sheikh, has admitted that Rubi there, the Almeria coach, is going to have to sell Sadiq. It's likely to be Villarreal, seems to be the expectation. A fee of around 30 million. Sadiq scored 18 goals in promotion last season. So it's a strange situation for him to be playing when he knows he's probably leaving in a few days.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy because anything could happen, an injury, something that you don't want to happen, and then the deal is off, and it could be a problem for Almeria as well. But obviously, you got to be professional, you got to be focused and try and win this game and help your teammates. But it's not easy for him, not easy for Rubi, and not easy for his teammates as well. It's been a strange week for Umar Sadiq, who's actually left his house and he's living at the same hotel where Real Madrid was in Almeria last night. So a very strange situation.
Good turn by Ramazani now, finding the pass out to Chumi. Chumi can send in the cross, but mishits it straight to Thibaut Courtois. It's a bright start from Almeria. They obviously didn't listen to their club owner, Turki Al-Sheikh, saying that he just hopes that his team don't get beaten too badly. If they draw, it'll be a miracle, and if they win, it'll be thanks to God. So he set the expectations low for Almeria, but the players obviously don't seem to see it that way.
No, it's a good way to take the pressure off the players, really. So no one's expecting us to win. If we get a good result, well, happy days. But if we lose, everyone expect us to lose. I'm sure that inside the dressing room, no one thinks about getting beaten badly by Real Madrid. You can see by the start of the game how Almeria is trying to play from the back. We could also see that Chumi is not a wing back, he's a centre back. He was in a very good position to put the cross in and really didn't know what to do. And we also saw that offside, there wasn't an offside. Rudiger played the offside trap. It's his first game at Real Madrid, so these type of things, he'll need to address it. But so far, now we can see Real Madrid trying to have more of the ball. Chouameni playing in that holding midfield position, and Toni Kroos playing on his preferred left. Camavinga having to adapt to the right, even though he's a left-footed player.
Well, Jamie, pitchside, I've seen your Twitter feed. I've seen you in the bars with your beers and your tapas, but I'm sure that was really just investigative journalism, because it's a good way to get to know the locals. That's why you were doing it, I'm sure. So what have the Almeria fans been saying to you about their hopes for this game and the season?
They are absolutely excited, Andy. They know this is an interesting project. Let's finish this play and I'll explain you.
Vinicius inside for Chouameni, and now the shot taken on by Lucas Vázquez that he drags wide. So carry on, Jamie.
So they are excited because they know that since the Sheikh bought the club 3 seasons ago, this club, the objective is to play in Europe. So they have been renovating the stadium. They celebrated the inauguration of the first part of the renovation. We have to understand that this is one of the stadiums left in Spain with a track. So this will be eliminated. The pitch will go deeper in order to the stands let meet the pitch and this track disappear. So there's still some works ongoing. But their objective, and they've told me that several times, is to play in Europe in a few seasons, but they all know that the objective this season is to stay in La Liga.
Sadiq winning the free kick with the foul from Nacho, showing that he's a handful. The player, as I say, scored 18 goals last season, 9 assists as well. He's a good creator. Oh, and here's a moment of danger, very nearly allowing Karim Benzema to run in.
Well, they take risks, Andy. Obviously, you could see that from the first phase of build-up, the three centre-backs close to Fernando, wanting to play. If it's not possible, they go long for Omar Sadiq. Always a good outlet, very strong physically. Nacho couldn't cope with him, had to foul him. But here, Babic, a little bit risky. The pass back to Fernando. But this is Almeria, and this is Rubi. They want to have the ball, they want to play, even though those risks against Real Madrid, they got to be careful.
Likely to be a busy night for the goalkeeper, Fernando Martinez, who's been with the club since 2017, so he's seen the way things have developed, as Jamie was explaining, in the last few years. Faces competition from a namesake, Fernando Pacheco. The former Alaves keeper is one of those who've been signed by Almeria but not registered yet. Another one, Leo Baptistao, who you may remember from a few years ago, burst onto the scene with Rayo Vallecano and spent the last few years in Brazil. But he's back, or he will be when they're able to register him.
Yeah, so, Leo Baptistao, hugely experienced as Ramazani is on.
Ramazani getting in behind and a chance to finish, and he does. And it's a sensational start for Almeria. Laji Ramazani with a fine low finish. And even Thibaut Courtois couldn't stop it. What a dream start for Almeria. 6 minutes in, they're leading the league and European champions Real Madrid.
Well, we were saying that Rudiger tried the offside trap earlier, and it wasn't an offside, even though it was given. And now there was a gap in between Rudiger and Nacho. It was huge. Ramazani took advantage of it, ran into it, and then the finish, fantastic from him in front of Thibaut Courtois. Didn't hesitate. Almeria takes the lead. All cameras on Antonio Rudiger. We'll see it in a minute. You can see Eguaras building up. The ball gets played into Akieme, and then Ramazani starts running. Look at this ball from Eguaras with the outside of his right foot. Nacho is attracted by Sadiq. Rudiger is caught slipping. And what about the finish? Fantastic. He was onside, Ramazani. Almeria take the lead, and what a game we have, Andy.
What a start indeed, and you were dead right, Andre. You said they'd go for it, and they have. They've been so positive from the start. And Rudiger playing Ramazani onside. And what a finish. We've been talking about Umar Sadiq. Everyone's been talking about Umar Sadiq all week, but Ramazani sending a reminder, hey, I'm here as well. Not the only striker in Almeria is Sadiq, and Ramazani with 8 goals last season gets the first of the new campaign. Here's Vinicius looking to respond quickly, twisting and turning, finding Benzema, who lays it off for Camavinga. And now the shot tipped over. I think there was a touch on that as Valverde fired it in. And it is a corner, so it was a good save by Fernando Martinez.
Yeah, good reaction from Real Madrid. Obviously, you can see that Babic trying to pull Benzema's shirt. Camavinga showing his very left-footed, didn't try the shot, the pass to Valverde. Goes for power. And then a corner for Real Madrid, but a champion's reaction.
So Toni Kroos will deliver the corner. Out swinging towards the penalty spot beyond Benzema. Picked up by Ferland Mendy just. And he's able to find Valverde, who tries again, and again it's on target, but a more comfortable save this time for Fernando Martinez. Almeria breathe a big sigh of relief.
Yeah, obviously Valverde's left foot is not as good as his right. Sorry, Jamie.
No, I was going to say that, Andy, Andrea, you had to see Carlo Ancelotti after that goal. He went straight to talk with the two centre-backs, with Nacho and Rudiger. He didn't like their positioning, and he reprimanded them seriously.
Well, it's the first time they've played together, obviously, so they're getting used to each other's positioning. And as you said, Andrea, that's twice we've seen now Rudiger dropping beyond the back line and playing it the opponent's onside. Now here's Vinicius again. Benzema in the middle, over the top. But 3 chances in 3 minutes for Real Madrid since they fell behind. Doesn't look like it's going to stay 1-0.
No, you can see Almeria taking risks. You asked me if they were going defensive because playing with 3 centre-backs. Well, not really. Look at the 3 centre-backs on the halfway line. A long ball to Vinicius. The cross is not a clean one. And then Babic does enough there. I think it's actually him. No, it's Benzema touching the ball, but he does enough to put him off.
A rare miss from Karim Benzema, but good reaction from Real Madrid. 10 minutes, but we've had absolutely everything already in the game.
Well, like you say, with the back three, it's a question of is it a back three or a back five? And often when it's a back three, it's because really it's a back five and the fullbacks are going to stay deep as well. But this is really the back three, isn't it, with everyone else pushing forward for Almeria. But they've lost possession in midfield with a good challenge from Tchouaméni. And it's on with Camavinga.
And he wins a corner. And for Almeria's goal, Andy, I wanted to say that this comes straight from the training ground. It's a typical move of a 3-5-2. When your holding midfielder gets the ball from the wing-back, the bigger striker comes deep and attracts one of the centre-backs, and the other one runs in behind. So Igualas, I'm sure he didn't even look at where Ramazani was.
Just put it into the space.
Just put it into the space, and it came out perfectly. And it was great to see.
Another corner for Toni Kroos. This one a little shallow at the near post, headed away by Robertoni, but only back to Kroos, who can step inside Ramazani and deliver a better looking ball this time. Brought down by Rudiger, and the block was made by Kaiki, the 18-year-old, celebrating it almost as though he's scored himself as he sends the shot behind.
And we've seen already two Almeria defenders celebrating a block, which is not good news. Obviously good news that they blocked it, but that means that Real Madrid are pushing and putting Almeria under huge pressure.
6 shots already for Real Madrid, but they trail. Well, they have another corner. And once again, it'll be the German maestro, Toni Kroos. As Aurelien Tchouaméni tries to make a nuisance of himself with the goalkeeper Fernando. 5 other Real Madrid players in the penalty area. It's a poor ball from Kroos, a rare poor ball from him, and whacked away by Samu Costa. The eyebrow is raised.
And Rubi asking for calm. He didn't like that at all.
Now here's Vinicius. Well, there might be a few people thinking, I know the name, Ramazani. I've heard of him before, especially Man United fans. And it's not been a great weekend or week or few years for Man United fans, but sorry to make things feel a bit worse. But that man who scored the goal was on the books of Manchester United as a youngster. Played one game, I think it was, in the Europa League. They then let him leave. And here he is, scoring past Thibaut Courtois for the opening goal. Actually moved to England initially when he was 12 years old to join Charlton. And then on to United, where he progressed through before moving to Spain. And what an impact.
Yeah, and you can see Andy, he strikes the ball perfectly. He doesn't really give Courtois a chance to move. As the ball is bouncing, he just anticipates anything that Courtois can do. And fantastic finish. And a great run as well.
Tchouaméni almost losing out. In fact, he does. He gives it to Sadiq, who will run on with Robertoni nearby. Oh, what a stinging drive that was from Sadiq, but rising too high and over the top. Fine effort, though, but not so fine by Tchouaméni to give possession away like that.
Well, that was close. That was very close. You don't expect Omar Sadiq to do those type of things, but he can score goals like this. He can give assists as well, even though it doesn't look like it, being so strong and big. But good power, great legs, and good technique. Mistake from Tchouaméni, actually starting his first La Liga game for Real Madrid. Never easy, and more so when you replace a certain Casemiro.
The pressure on him, pressure on Real Madrid in general. Just wondering, Jamie, the atmosphere as you are pitch side. Often you go around Spain, Real Madrid are so well supported all over the country, all over the world, that you get a decent number of their fans in as the home fans in the home areas. Is that the case today, or are the Almeria fans all there for their team?
I see quite a lot of white shirts in the stands. I've been told that 750 Real Madrid fans officially have travelled only to watch this game. In fact, when I was going on my tour, on my tapas tour around the city, I saw a family from Jordan that came only to see this game.
Well, they'll be enjoying it so far, for sure. Although, who did they support? They were Real Madrid fans, probably. So maybe
Yes.
not
They were
enjoying
wearing
it that
Real
much.
Madrid shirts, yeah.
Yeah, so not enjoying it that much. Yeah, enjoying the football. It's been a great game. 15 minutes nearly flown by. Set up for a really intriguing contest. Kroos finding Mendy. Camavinga's in the middle. Mendy in two minds, almost lost it, but is able to win the corner in the end. But what Almeria don't want to do, I guess, here, Andrea, is fall into the trap of just defending, because it's going to be a very long night if that's the case. Want to keep the pressure on.
No, absolutely, but you're forced against players of this quality. Now Toni Kroos is more on the ball, and Almeria, there's nothing they can do really than drop deep and defend.
Valverde with another try. Hit it with a lot of power, but close enough to the keeper that he was able to save it comfortably. And now it's a mistake by Mendy this time, allowing Sadiq to race away into the area, but between them, Camavinga and Mendy are able to win the goal kick. Just the last touch coming off Sadiq, but here's the third effort on target.
He's got to strike, this guy,
hasn't he?
Unbelievable power and technique to keep the ball low. Obviously,
just as well for Fernando that it was close to him, because otherwise he wouldn't have had a chance. Is Vinicius keeping it in down the left, running at Kaiki. Laid off by Valverde. Lucas Vázquez with the cross that Rodrigo Eli can pick up, and sending it long, looking for Sadiq. Collision in midair between him and Nacho.
Well, now you can see that Almeria already after 6 minutes are split apart. You've got your two strikers very far away from the rest of the team. So you've got your 5 defenders plus the 3 midfielders defending, and Sadiq and Ramazani left on their own against Real Madrid defenders.
And the referee, Juan Martinez Munuera, here asking for play to be stopped because it's a head injury. And if it is Villarreal who are going to be signing Sadiq in the next few days, they're looking at this thinking, don't get injured.
Please. Just look after yourself.
Is that, can you reveal anything to us? Have you heard anything about his destination? Is Villarreal likely to be the case?
I mean, I know what you know, and what we all know, what we read on the media, and it looks like it's going to be Villarreal. It would be a great signing for Villarreal as we see the goal once again. Look at him. Courtois is just, backpedaling, so he can't really react. And the finish is great. But obviously, it would be a different type of striker for Villarreal, going from Paco Alcácer, who barely played last season, or Gerard Moreno, who's more mobile. So, and maybe they can use a different system with Gerard playing off a big striker. Let's see if the deal happens first. But obviously, Sadiq is goals. It's what he's got.
It looks like he's going to be okay, just a little dazed after that collision with Nacho. As you said, Andrea, it was a fantastic pass from Eguaras to play the ball through, and he's, like many of these Almeria players, someone who spent his entire career until now in the lower reaches. He's 30 years old, spent a long time with Zaragoza before moving in January to Almeria and spending the second half of the season helping them win the league. So what a nice opportunity for him to step up in the tail end of his career, now playing in the top flight for the first time.
These stories are fantastic. Someone who's never stopped believing, a very good footballer, from La Cantera, from Lezama, from Athletic Bilbao Youth Academy. And, at the age of 30, after 10 minutes, is given an assist, in Laliga against Real Madrid. So
here's Vinicius trying to turn Chumi inside out, but the wing-back was able to make the challenge for a corner. Formerly with Barcelona, Chumi came through
Martinez
to
Munuera
Barca's
has
B
gone
team.
to see how Sadiq is feeling. He went to the sideline. Sadiq seems okay, and now he returns to the pitch.
Yeah, and that's what referees have to do now with head injuries. Take more care rather than just waving players back on. Go and make sure that they're not showing signs of concussion. So Sadiq trots back into the box to help defend this corner. Another one. Was this corner number 6 already, I think, for Real Madrid? Delivered by Kroos. Bounces down. Benzema takes a deflection. And it'll be another corner.
Yeah, another corner and more pressure to Almeria. True that Toni Kroos is not taking those corners as he normally does. Not enough power on those balls, but Almeria, they managed to win the first challenge, but then the second ball always drops to a Real Madrid player.
And that one caught Srdan Babic on the side of the head. So he's a little dazed now. As the latest corner comes in, solidly headed away by Rodrigo Eli. And here's Meguaras able to pick up the loose ball.
Obviously now for Almeria, it would be a good idea to calm things down, not doing exactly this, just giving the ball away to Real Madrid straight away, because...
Yeah, they want to keep it for a bit when they can and,
exactly.
And rest.
Exactly, rest with the ball if they can.
Camavinga finds Valverde. Lucas Vázquez outside him. Back for Camavinga, and now Kroos. Vázquez once more. Patient build-up from the visitors as Camavinga finds Mendy. Benzema alone in the box, joined now by Vázquez as Vinicius takes on a shot from the edge of the area that's comfortably blocked, and Kroos can't find Mendy.
Robertone helping Chumi out, Ramazani as well, helping his teammates defending against Real Madrid, but not able to find, Vini into good positions. And my only doubt, Andy, when I saw the lineup was the position of Tchouaméni. If he was going to be the Casemiro, we all know that's his position, but to start your Real Madrid career in La Liga, replacing such a big player, it's not always easy. Remember what happened to Camavinga last year. He started there a few games and got replaced at half-time. So he had to show character in order to react, and he did. But having Toni Kroos, who prefers to play on the left, I thought that Toni Kroos could have been the holding midfielder. Camavinga playing on the left of midfield and Tchouaméni on the right, but he's given Tchouaméni the confidence to start in Casemiro's position tonight.
Casemiro on the bench. It's a pretty good bench for Real Madrid, fair to say.
Yeah, it looks okay.
David Alaba, Eder Militao. We'll come back to that because Robertone lofting it forward. That's straight to Courtois. Dani Ceballos, Eden Hazard, Marco Asensio, Luka Modric. Not a bad list of alternatives available to Carlo Ancelotti if he needs them, which, approaching the midway point of the first half, it's looking as though he might. His team trailing. The early goal from Laji Ramazani. The only players missing for Ancelotti are Dani Carvajal and Rodrigo. Kroos finding Benzema, who's been fairly quiet so far. He's not been able to get involved in linking up play yet. As the flag goes up here for offside against Vinicius.
And all the good things we heard of Kaiki during pre-season, we've seen it. Strong, quick, good on the ball as well, brave in the first build-up. Look here, he was late to Vini, but still reacted. Even though Vini was offside, he won the ball.
Well, it's a lot of money for an 18-year-old, isn't it? For a club like Almeria, 7 million. And obviously Rubi now has seen him throughout pre-season and has enough faith in him to start him at the age of 18 against Real Madrid. So
yeah. And they had tough competition to get him as well, so there were lots of clubs in Europe interested in this 18-year-old from Santos.
They've produced a few players over the years.
Yeah.
Now Rudiger, who it's fair to say hasn't looked entirely comfortable on his La Liga debut so far. Mendy, Fanacho, Courtois, pressure applied by Sadiq, and now by Ramazani on Rudiger. And that's really well done by Almeria, not allowing Real Madrid to come out comfortably.
Very good pressure. Obviously, we know what can happen then. We saw that with that long ball to Vini. They take risks, but so far so good. They put in Madrid under pressure, making it difficult for them as we see the goal.
According to our algorithm, a 1 in 4 chance of going in when he hits it. Ramazani going up against Thibaut Courtois. That's maybe a bit generous.
Yeah.
He was, at the end of last season, stopping anything that came anywhere near him, or even didn't go anywhere near him. He still got there. Now Aguaras, good ball on for Sadiq, who's challenged by Tchouaméni. And Camavinga will look to race away. Benzema takes it off him and finds Kroos. Vinicius is the furthest forward.
Cruz, run being made into the box by Lucas Vázquez, but instead it goes to Valverde, who will now deliver the cross that's deflected straight into the arms of Fernando.
Benzema was waiting at the back of Rodrigo Eli. Looks slightly offside to me, but that was where that Fede Valverde cross was intended.
And on the whole, they're looking reasonably comfortable at the moment, aren't they, Almeria? Not like they were in the first few minutes after taking the lead when Real Madrid were creating chance after chance. It's been somewhat more comfortable in the last few minutes.
Yeah, I think that as we
not
wait a
speak
little
too
bit
soon.
when Vini has the ball, it's better to wait a little bit, but this is what they have to do. Look at, you know, they've got enough quality to come out of Real Madrid's pressure well. Now finding Sadik.
He turns
start playing.
to give it to Aguadas, and on in turn to Babic. And now Akiemi, it's Ramazani, excuse me, Akiemi ahead of him. Goes back instead to Samu Costa, and plenty of Almeria players getting involved in this move. This is the longest they've kept the ball, perhaps all game, certainly since the early few minutes. And the fans responding. Robertone. Back for Kaiki. Babic. Fernando. Haven't been counting the passes, but it's been a long move.
Well, Fernando had enough now.
Yeah, trying to go more direct. It's cleared only as far as Robertone, so they can start another spell of possession. Robertone.
Akiemi was making the run, and Samu Costa has enough quality in that left foot to find him, but he didn't want to risk it now that Almeria had the ball for a little while, but they lost an opportunity there.
And his space for Camavinga to find Valverde. Back for Vinicius, really well blocked by Rodrigo Eli. And Rudiger almost losing out there as Sadik goes down again.
And Villarreal are worried again.
And Rudiger might be worried as well. He's not looked very assured, has he?
No. Obviously, I'm sure Rudiger expected to arrive to Real Madrid and be starting every game straight away. And we could see from pre-season that this is not going to be the case. That Ancelotti has clearly said that the centre-back pairing is going to be Militao and Alaba. He doesn't want to change that. And Rudiger will come into the rotation plan.
Here's Vinicius again. And there'll be another corner after Chumi gets a foot on it. But he has also said, Andrea, that he will rotate more than he has in the past. So there will be plenty of games, if things go to plan, where it's like tonight. It's Nacho and Rudiger, or at least one of them.
Yeah.
Cruz back to Valverde. And probably a lot of managers feeling that way because of the unknown of this World Cup interruption that's coming up.
Well, the unknown of this season, really, Andy, because...
Here's Benzema on target, but close enough to Fernando that he could just fall on it.
There's going to be two leagues. I think that the World Cup, it's going to dictate as well mentally how players are going to come back, depending on how it goes. Lots of games, injuries, of course, will start to kick in. There's so many factors and ingredients that can change the season. But
well, look at Benzema as a prime example. He's not won the World Cup. He's spent years out of the French team, and now he's back in, and what a motivation for him. Imagine if he wins the World Cup with France and then heads back, and it's January and there's still a long slog to go. The Champions League isn't resuming yet. It'll be hard mentally in that situation.
More mentally than physically, I think. But it's going to be challenging for sure for everyone. Coaches, fitness coaches, of course. How many pre-seasons are they going to have?
Yeah.
How many players you're going to lose for the World Cup? Obviously, Real Madrid, absolutely everyone, nearly everyone.
And what do you do with the players who are left behind for 6 weeks?
Yeah, exactly. But fortunately, it's not for us, Andy. So it's for Pintus, Ancelotti, and the coaches to look after it.
And here's Robertone, one who's unlikely to be in the World Cup, an Argentine who moved over to Europe a couple of years ago to join Almeria from Vélez Sarsfield. You see Mendy now. Well challenged by Chumi, but still able to keep it and give it to Tchouaméni. Valverde thinking about another shot there. Instead gives it to Camavinga, and there's a rather aimless ball in the end from Lucas Vázquez, and that kind of attack is something that Almeria will be pretty comfortable with.
Yeah, very happy to give space to Lucas Vázquez down the right. No one was really expecting or waiting for that cross other than Benzema, but at the penalty spot, so the cutback was on, and Lucas Vázquez went for power, and nothing came out of it. That was actually a very good chance.
Well, that takes us to the cooling break, the hydration break, near the half-hour mark of this game. Almeria leading with the early goal from Lagi Ramazani. What a storyline we have on our hands on this opening weekend of La Liga Santander. And while we have this break, it's a good time to go back to Jamie and find out what you enjoyed about the city. Tell us a little about Almeria on your travels in the last couple of days.
Well, Andy, we have to say that this is one of the cities in Spain that if you go and have, for example, 4 drinks and 4 tapas, they will only charge you €10. It's something that you can enjoy in the south of Spain, especially in 2 cities, Almeria and Granada, because for that price, if you go to Barcelona, Madrid, San Sebastián, you will probably have 1 drink and 1 tapa. So this is what makes this region so fantastic. But it's the region, it's the most arid region in Spain, the driest region, and that could explain, I don't know if you can observe that on your screens, but the grass in some parts of the pitch is starting sort of to lift up a little bit, and that's because this is a special grass. This is an area with a lot of deserts. Some Hollywood movies, westerns, have been shot here in Almeria. So the grass is special. They allowed to have a different length of the grass, only 15 millimeters, when all the rest of the stadiums have between 20 and 30, and this is because it's so dry that the grass is thicker and it's different. So we'll see maybe some Real Madrid players, maybe Ancelotti, saying something about that at the end of the game.
Well, you see, that bar hopping was well worth it, Jamie. You picked up a lot of good information there from the locals while you were enjoying the 4 beers and 4 tapas for €10.
We all want to go to Almeria now.
Yeah. Save us a table, Jamie.
I will.
So back to the action after the cooling break. Very much needed in, as Jamie said, the driest, most arid part of Spain.
Well, and obviously the length of the grass and how thick it is, obviously it can cause more than a headache to players in order to pick the boots and stats to play the game. You know, most of defensive players plus defensive midfielders want to use stats, mixed stats, to have them a little bit longer. But if the grass is that short, you're not really able to move freely if you're using those type of boots. Then if you don't do it and you slip, it can be very costly. So that I'm sure that, you know, even the grass has given Real Madrid and Almeria players more than a headache preparing to this one.
Here's Tchouaméni to Camavinga. Everyone for Almeria behind the ball this time. They're not leaving the forwards up on this occasion, as Kroos tries to flick it to Mendy. Just about had enough on it for the left-back to win the throw-in. And the visitors will start again with Tchouaméni picking a pass nicely for Valverde. Lucas Vázquez back for Tchouaméni, who tries to feed it into the run of Benzema. Rodrigo Eli and Sergio Aguirre get it away. They're the only 2 players in this Almeria lineup who've played in the top flight before. Rodrigo Eli most recently with Alaves, of course.
Yep.
And Aguirre, to say he's played in the top flight before, he had 2 games with Rayo.
With Rayo, yeah.
In the 2018-19 season.
But for him, it was crucial to go on loan first and then be bought by Barcelona B, because they...
Now here's Benzema. Good ball in behind, and Benzema maybe just in 2 minds whether to control it or hit it first time. And it was a tame effort in the end.
Yeah, and I was saying, as we see Rudiger looking up Benzema in between Kaiki and at the back of Rodrigo Eli. That's a great ball from Antonio Rudiger, and you know, a rare miss from Karim Benzema. Not easy, but we've seen him doing all sorts of things, Benzema. And as I was saying, Aguirre, I think that his move to Barcelona B shaped him into a new player. He learned, you know, a lot of how to play from the back. He gained a lot of confidence. He was a completely different player when he first joined Barca and when he left. And Almeria, you know, got a fantastic fullback in Akieme. Powerful, it was very powerful, but probably his understanding of the game wasn't great before joining Barca, and that was a great move for him looking into the future. And now we see him playing in Laliga Santander with Almeria. Let's see if he can produce down the left. There was a moment where he was running into space and Samu Costa didn't find him, but he's a very good fullback.
Camavinga challenge there, but no foul, and a lovely flick by Sadiq. And now Robertoni holds off Cruz. Oh, clever step over by Ramazani and Costa. Oh, that's a shame that Sadiq inadvertently got in the way, because Akieme was moving into space down the left. The ball would have found him, but they have been able to keep it. And now Chumi, 3 in the middle, goes back to Samu Costa. Now Guaras, the 2 ball players in the centre of midfield. And here's Robertoni. He's comfortable on the ball as well. Chumi, 4 in the middle. Robertoni turns, clips the cross, and you can see the idea. Stand it up to the far post, but you've got to beat Thibaut Courtois for that, and he couldn't do so. And now the free kick is whistled as Camavinga was challenged.
Yeah, good pressure from Almeria once they lose the ball. Once again, Samu Costa a little bit hesitant there when he wanted to play the ball out to Akieme and found Sadiq. But a good moment of football for Almeria. The cross from Robertone, easily taken by Thibaut Courtois, but you could see the reaction straight away, how aggressive they were to get the ball back.
Now Benzema able to find Vinicius. Camavinga's making a burst into the box. Vinicius might want to go himself. Instead he tries to let back for Valverde, but it's clear. Robertone with a nice touch. Ramazani back to Costa. No hesitation from Samu this time. Straight into the path of Sadiq. And he gives it away. Poor ball, really.
Yeah, a little bit sloppy there. You can see that.
And now here's a great pass from Valverde. Vinicius into the area. The angle is narrow and the shot is saved. Palm behind. Almeria looking round for an offside flag, but that doesn't go up. Well, and so they needed another save from Fernando.
It looks slightly offside to me, but obviously it was Real Madrid's best chance of the first half.
And they take the corner quickly. There's Kroos now for Valverde. First time we've seen him on this left wing. Tries to flick it in for Vinicius. Hesitant defending. And now another corner as the final touch comes from Kaiki.
I want to see the Vinicius chance again, found by Fede Valverde.
Yeah, we will at a break in play, which is not now, as Kroos sends in the corner. Eli gets it out. Lucas Vázquez back to Mendy. Vázquez quickly closed down by Akieme. Rudiger had initially stayed forward from the corner, but he trots back now, so it's Tchouaméni who's giving the extra man around the edge of the area, with Valverde looking to move inside. Had that drive that he can so well, but the pass was straight at Kaiki, and it's good control by Sadiq. And a good turn as well, and he's able to find Aguaras at the end of it. And now Akieme. Good ball spread out for Chumi. Almeria have played with real confidence, impressive stuff. As Samu tries to flick it through, Rudiger just about able to keep it away from Akieme. And Tchouaméni onto Cruz.
Well, now is when Real Madrid needs to accelerate. They've been a little bit slow. Of course, they've had chances. Lots of shots on target, but...
Oh, nutmeg by Vinicius.
Well,
completely beating Kaiki there and needed the second defender.
Welcome to Laliga, from Vini to Kaiki.
One young Brazilian to another. Who knows, maybe there'll be national team companions in the future. Here's Cruz with another corner. Flicked away, I think it was Sadiq who got that touch that Rudiger will keep in. His delivery to the far post is a good one, but Tchouaméni,
great defending there from Kaiki.
Yeah, Kaiki did very well to get to that one and prevent Tchouaméni from having the chance, but it will be another corner. Cruz once again. And it's a free header for Rudiger, saved. And then Vinicius puts too much on the ball back in. And yet another save by Fernando, and that looked like a really good one. Rudiger unmarked at the far post. And now here's Tchouaméni, found by Valverde, and controlled well to spin and shoot, but it's saved. And look at this break, it could be 4 against 3. Ramazani.
Well,
oh, and Camavinga with a cynical foul that he had to make, but it was, to be cynical, it was a good foul because he was beaten and he knew they were in danger.
Yeah, it was a good foul because, as you pointed out, it was a 4v3 from Almeria in that possible transition. Real Madrid winning absolutely everything through corners. Toni Kroos has improved in his last corners. The delivery has been better. And Rudiger with a very good chance. We know how good he is in the air with set pieces. As we see it again, Rudiger with Babic it is. He wins that duel. And then the ball from Vini is a bad one. As we see the chance again from Vini Jr. I think the Kaiki was closing that right foot. So he was forced to kind of striking the ball earlier and didn't have the time and space to open his body up. And a good save from Fernando.
And now after that cynical but necessary foul by Camavinga earns him a yellow card. The free kick played in too deep. Courtois gathers easily. Sadiq was also booked for an earlier challenge. As Valverde turns on the engine again, finds Benzema.
And Kaiki again.
Did really well. Just used his body. I don't think he even touched the ball, did he? But he didn't need to.
Strong, obviously, putting Benzema off and preventing Real Madrid start from scoring. Very good first half from the young Brazilian.
There's movement on the sideline. I see Zendejas warming up. He's a left back, so we'll see if Hakimi has some problems.
Now here's Camavinga. Great block by Rodrigo Eli. Flying in. And that looks like a handball, does it? No, says the referee. 15,000 Almeria fans shouted mano, handball, but the referee ruled it to be accidental, unavoidable. Tchouaméni finds Vinicius. Benzema moving towards him. It goes to Kroos instead. Good block again by Rodrigo Eli. And Ramazani sends it for Sadiq to chase, but
it's great to see Rudiger when he opens his legs up. You can see the way he's running. Really puts his knees high, and he's very quick.
He won that race as Mendy and Benzema find Vinicius. Clever back heel. Mendy's cross to the far post isn't going to reach Benzema because Babic is there. And Sadiq challenge from behind. Play going on, and Ramazani.
Well, now you can see that Rudiger is taking a few yards back. Actually,
Almeria fans felt they should have had a free kick. The referee maybe trying to allow the advantage. As Vinicius tries again. Back to Kroos. Steps inside. Clips it for Lucas Vázquez. But the flag is up. So it will not count, or it won't count at least yet. Lucas Vázquez, the most unlikely of goal scorers with the cushion volley. Let's have a look.
Well, Kroos with in the first touch, it gets past a player, and then with this, let's call it wicker foot well. Chumi, if it's an offside, it's very close. For me, it's not an offside. Well, let's see and wait VAR.
Yeah, we'll have to wait for VAR because our angle wasn't perfect. It was close to perfect on that view we had, but it was slightly at an angle.
The offside stands. I see the referee pulling his hand up in the air and saying it's an offside.
Then it is.
Okay.
Well, what a ball that was from Toni Kroos. I mean, with his control, with his first touch, gets past Samu Costa and then crosses into the box. That was close, very close.
Good finish as well.
Yeah, fantastic finish from Lucas. Remembering his time as a winger, of course.
Yeah,
that wasn't long ago.
Never been a prolific goal scorer, though, has he?
No.
But he finished that one well as Ramazani trips Vinicius, and Rodrigo Eli just risking an unnecessary yellow card by kicking the ball away. No doubt about that foul. Vinicius too quick for Ramazani. It's been a game, I was just thinking it's been a game that's flowed. Not many free kicks, and we see there only 5 in total. Here's Mendy, cuts it back. Great awareness by Samu to prevent it from reaching Benzema.
The three in the middle, Eguara, Samu and Robert Tone, they've been working hard. Obviously, always helping his defenders, his teammates, filling those gaps, doubling up when they had to.
Ramazani is all over
and
Camavinga.
I saw Andrea Rubi telling his players he wants a line of 4 there now.
Okay.
Here's Kroos to Vinicius, laid off, and Benzema at first didn't realise it was coming and had to stretch to keep it in, and Almeria get it back. Eguaras for Kaiki.
Well, Kaiki hasn't really put a foot wrong in this first half. Short on the ball, strong in defence.
4 minutes of added time, and yep, good spot, Jamie. We can see that it's a back four now with Robertoni moving out to the right, and Babic kind of playing as a left back. Akiemi's helping out by closing down Lucas Vázquez and trying to keep an eye on Valverde.
Is still warming up.
Yeah, I don't know if there's still 5 at the back, but Ramazan is the 4th in midfield. I don't know if Rubi was meaning 4 midfielders and not 3 anymore.
Miscontrol by Sadiq this time, after Almeria once again withstand some pressure. As Lucas Vázquez sends in the cross, Rodrigo Eli heads it away. Sadiq
is the 4th in midfield. I don't know if Rubi was meaning 4 midfielders and not 3 anymore.
Miscontrol by Sadiq this time, after Almeria once again withstand some pressure. As Lucas Vázquez sends in the cross, Rodrigo Eli heads it away. Sadiq in to take it off Camavinga, but then can't find Sadiq. The gradual was in to take it off Camavinga, but then can't find Sadiq. The gradual once again withstand some pressure. Was in to take it off Camavinga, but then can't find Sadiq. The gradual was in to take it off Camavinga, but then can't
De helden van de NFL melden zich
hit like that and fall down like that. So it is pretty nerve-wracking and sickening.
Medical attention out.
europei Well, Anna found the hotel on her usual website. Laura, on the other hand, used Trivago to compare offers from
So pretty much all Real Madrid possession early in this second half, as you would expect. Rodrigo Eli again breaks it up. Chumi caught in possession by Vinicius, who now takes it on. Flicks this time to Benzema. Step over, cross beyond Lucas Vázquez. Coming in is Fede Valverde, and once again he gets a shot on target, but once again it doesn't beat Fernando. More or less straight at him.
Yeah, as we see Almeria now on the break, but you can tell that Real Madrid with Luka Modric, they have so much better quality on the ball, and they're able to find good positions easily. As look at
Sadiq, and he has it saved by Courtois. Great run by Umar Sadiq after initially it was Ramazani and Costa who did good work.
Well, Sadiq is an orthodox striker. You think he's going to trip himself over, or he's going to give the ball away or lose it, but he doesn't. He knows exactly what he's doing. Good fit with that size, not easy at all.
And here he is running onto the pass from Robertone, and Courtois with another save.
He was offside. But what a save from Thibaut Courtois.
Just stopped it with his shoulder, it seemed there, and span onto the side netting. Great challenge again by Rodrigo Eli to win it, and
yes, he was offside.
Yeah, not by a lot. But now here's Vinicius. This game continuing at a frenetic pace. Vinicius going to backheel it to Benzema, but Chumi was just able to adjust his body.
Yeah, he read it because he knew exactly what Vinicius wanted to do. Otherwise,
you could see it coming, couldn't you?
Yeah.
You could just see that Vinicius moving inside, Benzema going outside him on the overlap. The backheel was coming, but Chumi did well to...
Yeah, he did great.
Adjust his body, make the block, and they're going to come forward again now with Akieme feeding Ramazani. He'll go himself, and another shot on target from Almeria.
Well, great pace from this man. Actually, great awareness as well, and quality. Goes for goal, full of confidence. You know, now Almeria, they try to find him as quick as possible when they get the ball back.
Well, you'd feel they...
And Ruby preparing some substitutions. Curro Sanchez was called, and I also saw Diego Sousa being called, so we'll see if it's a double substitution or if it's only Curro Sanchez entering the pitch.
Okay, well, keep an eye on that. Curro Sanchez, experienced midfield player. As another one picks up the ball here, Aguaras. Sadiq with the flick, or attempted flick, but he didn't get enough or anything on it, and he just seems to have a bit of a muscle problem there as he moves away. Oh, what a flick from Vinicius to Benzema, and the follow-up by Cruz.
I think Fernando as well got injured by saving that Benzema attempt.
And a free
He's
kick
touching
has been
his
given.
left knee, yeah. Fernando is quite hurt.
And Rodrigo Eli as
on the floor. Yeah, Rodrigo Eli as well. And Martin Munuera asks for medical assistance for Almeria's goalkeeper right now. And everybody here at the stadium chanting his name, Fernando.
Because he saves it with his knee, like he goes down. With his arm.
With his arm, but his knee was a bit awkward. And then on the rebound, as Kroos tried to get there, Rodrigo Eli was fouled by him as he flew in.
And he goes down, touches his knee there. Well,
a frantic passage of play as Fernando goes into double figures in saves made. We need to start checking the record books here. How many saves? What's the highest number of saves made by a goalkeeper in a game? Already 10 by Fernando, who...
Yeah, you can see his left knee.
His studs got caught.
Yes, exactly. His left foot gets caught there. Look at Sadiq. Win the first challenge with Tchouaméni. Then Rudiger can stop him.
Courtois did, though.
Yep.
And the substitution will take place. Robertone will be replaced by Curro Sanchez.
Curro Sanchez, a 26-year-old midfielder who was a regular off the bench last season for Almeria during their title-winning campaign. 35 appearances in total, 24 of them as a substitute. And Robertone has done some good work today, but now probably a more physically imposing player coming on.
Yeah, obviously you need legs now. And as we said, look at Modric on the pitch. You can see Real Madrid controlling things. And Almeria need energy in that midfield. And Curro's going to bring that.
Ancelotti will move his bench too. Eden Hazard has been called and he's ready to participate in this game.
Well, we talked about him a few minutes ago. Could be the kind of game for him. It will have to be for Real Madrid.
But look at the Guaras as well. He's enjoying himself out there.
Yeah, it was his assist in the first half that set Ramazani on his way for the opener. He's had a very good game. Here's Curro getting an early touch. Rodrigo Eli has to be careful. And he knew it. He wasn't going to let Vinicius anywhere near that one. Cruz finding Vinicius. And now switching it out to Lucas Vázquez. Got Valverde nearby. And his cross now is met by Benzema, and it's yet another save. I'm not sure, he may have been offside there, Benzema, as the cross came in. Well delivered by Valverde in that area between the goalkeeper and the defence. You'll have to put a cross.
And Ancelotti goes offensive because it's Tchouaméni, the player replaced by Eden Hazard.
Well, you thought he might have come off at half-time.
Yeah.
Andre, you were only wrong by 12 minutes or so. And Hazard on, and it's going to be interesting to see what shape.
Yeah, because it looks like, you know, Hazard is going to be playing off Karim Benzema in a sort of a 4-4-1-1, because Valverde is still on the right.
Kroos is now the deeper holding midfielder. No, we see him now picking up possession.
Valverde is coming in that midfield three, and Hazard will not be a right winger, really. Will be closer to Karim Benzema and leaving space to Lucas Vázquez on the right. So a sort of a 4-3-3, an asymmetric 4-3-3, with Hazard having lots of freedom.
Vázquez using that space he has down the right, crosses to Vinicius, who controls on his chest, but then well away by Kaiki. Modric rises well to beat Curro Sanchez in the air. Modric for Benzema. Fed wide for Vinicius. Modric waiting for a cutback. Hazard in the middle. It is Modric who goes for the curler and puts too much on it. And behind it goes. So we're nearly at an hour mark now, and Carlo Ancelotti's remarkable record on opening day is coming under threat. The Spanish press picked up on this stat today. 26 occasions Carlo Ancelotti has taken a team into a season. He's only lost once. One defeat in 26 first day games.
Not a bad start.
Not bad, and under threat to suffer a loss number 2 here, which certainly wasn't in the script. But Almeria pushing forward again. We've
still 30 minutes to go though, Andy.
Oh, a lot can happen in half an hour, and I'm sure it will, the way this game has gone. Rudiger picking up the loose pass and finding Valverde, who's well tracked by Samu. And Rubi just making sure the throw-in can't be taken quickly. It's a big season for Rubi, isn't it? Back in the top flight, he had a disaster, nothing short of that, I have to say, with Betis last time he was in this division. He's had a mixture of successes and failures, really, over the years as well. So we'll come back to that point, because Real Madrid threatening again. Vinicius, another save. Is it going to fall for Lucas Vázquez? It is, and finally, Real Madrid have the equaliser, and it is Lucas Vázquez who had one ruled out in the first half. This one isn't going to be. After great work from Vinicius, his shot was saved. Benzema tried to pick up the rebound. Looks like he was hurt a little in the process of trying to do so, but the pain will subside for the fact that it fell for Lucas Vázquez to finally get the equaliser for Real Madrid.
But look at the acceleration from Vini. I mean, it's unbelievable. He gets the ball there, he sees 3 or 4 defenders, and he goes for it. Look at this, in between players, really. Another save from Fernando. Benzema wins the rebound, and Lucas Vázquez, who has the freedom now to go forward, finds himself, as in the first half, in a very good position. This time The goal stands 1-1 Real Madrid. We were saying there were still 30 minutes to go, and the reigning champions get back into it.
Well, they're not reigning La Liga and Champions League champions for no reason, you know.
Yeah.
And they will now feel, OK, we've got plenty of time to push on and win this game. Lucas Vázquez making another run down the right. And do you partially credit Carlo Ancelotti? The substitution he made, as you said it at the time, Lucas Vázquez will have more space to attack down the right, exactly what he did. And
well, obviously, Hazard hasn't really had the time to make an impact, but yeah, it's true that Lucas Vázquez, has found himself into a very good position. He did in the first half for the goal disallowed, but it was like an isolated one. And this time you can see him already there, bombing forward down the right. Obviously, he needed to shake things up, Carlo Ancelotti, first with Modric, now with Eden Hazard, and it's worked. And you could see that, the game was in Real Madrid's hands really in the second half, with Luka Modric, making better use of the ball, of course. And Almeria now, this is going to be a long 30 minutes for them.
Determined play by Rudiger there, which has left Samu Costa out of the game for now, and Valverde might take advantage with Benzema. It's just shooting practice at the moment for Real Madrid. Benzema curling that one over the top.
Now they get into better positions, as we see the chance again, Valverde for Benzema, and he goes over the bar, but the acceleration of Vini Jr. for the goal is just out of this world. I mean, how can you stop that?
Yeah, he won't get anything on the stat sheet for that. He didn't get the goal, obviously. He won't get an assist for it either, but he
look at
made
this touch, to get away from Chumi. Fernando saves, Benzema reacts, and then
harsh on Fernando, who nearly sat on that one for his latest save.
Yeah.
But he couldn't get back up on his feet quickly enough to prevent Vázquez from sliding it in.
And going back to Rubi's thing,
yeah,
I rate Rubi very highly. Played against Rubi when he was a young coach for Espanyol B, and I can tell you that he made life difficult for the opposition as Sadik fighting for that ball.
Making it difficult for Nacho there and very nearly giving himself a chance.
Yeah, and every player is played under Rubi always speaks volumes about him in terms of how good he is, how well he prepares games, tactically very prepared, and a very good coach, bright. At Betis, it was unfortunate. I thought he was very successful at Espanyol, qualifying for Europe. That was his big move, and it didn't work for him. He tried absolutely everything, changing systems, changing personnel, giving youngsters like Edgar a chance to play, but it wasn't to be. And now at Almeria, having a point to prove, he got them promoted under pressure, because that's obviously a very ambitious project with Turki El-Sheikh. And now let's see if he can establish himself as a La Liga manager finally, because I think he's got everything to be a very good coach in this league.
And it was a big job and a big risk for him to take on, because Almeria had rifled through a lot of, I think it was 5 coaches in a year and a half before he arrived.
Yes.
And so Turki El-Sheikh, not slow to fire a manager when things are going badly. And Rubi took that on, and he had to restore his reputation after what happened at Betis and won the league with them, so certainly did that.
Yeah, he's brave. I mean, you cannot tell he's not brave. Leaving Espanyol when he did, when he done
taken them into the Europa League.
Yeah, exactly, and go to Betis, a team that it was known as well by sacking a few managers up until the engineer took over.
Fernando's
it was risky,
having to come here as Real Madrid continue to press, and they're starting to look tired, Almeria. And Jamie, we're seeing another substitution getting ready. And how's the mood around the stadium changed since that equaliser?
A double substitution being prepared, and it will be Diego Sousa and Jose Carlos Lafau. The mood has changed radically here at the Powerhouse Stadium. Now what you can hear is the away fans, the more than 1,000 Real Madrid fans that are here. They are enjoying themselves now, and this is a very dangerous foul.
Well, it's a foul by Curro, the recently introduced substitute, on Vinicius, who's just been causing problems all night. And we see there he had his heel trodden on by Curro, hence the yellow card. It's a totally understandable call by the referee, Juan Martínez Munuera. And so Almeria won't make the change or changes yet, with their defence preparing to face another set piece. So yet again it will be Toni Kroos to angle it in, away by Babic, and almost given away by the goal scorer Vázquez. Oh, that's a misplaced pass by Mendy, and Courtois watches it go out for the throw-in. Can they take it quickly before he gets back in goal? No, there was no one up there for Ramazani to throw it to.
Yeah, but Thibaut Courtois must be thinking, thank you very much, Mendy, for that.
No, he just sliced it, didn't he? Totally miskicked the pass. We have seen some sloppy moments at the back from Real Madrid today, especially in the first half.
Some strange touches as well. It might be the grass that Jamie was talking about in the first half. We don't know, but rare mistakes from these fantastic players.
Here's Curro. Chumi trying to feed it inside, but Modric can open it into some space for Nacho. Midway through the second half, Real Madrid 1, Almeria 1. Lovely turn by Eden Hazard, and the pass on to Vinicius. Danger here. Benzema in the middle. Lucas Vázquez joining again as well. Vinicius trying to flick it back flamboyantly into the stride of Hazard, but it was just behind him, and Hazard had no real chance of taking that cleanly.
Those turns and touches from Hazard from that number 10 position, you know, at this stage of his career, I think that is the perfect position for him.
Vinicius once again looking to threaten. He has had such a, for me, it's such a good game, Vinicius. He's looked dangerous all the time.
Yeah, and the most important thing for a winger like him, well,
here's Hazard, lays it off. Benzema has it blocked by Kaiki. Behind for another corner.
Going back to Vini, he tries, Andy, even though you know, he gets fouled or he's not successful dribbling 1, 2, 3 times. He keeps going and going and going. I mean, for a fullback, it's an absolute nightmare, because there's no way of putting his morale down. He just tries every time. So every time comes at you, and for Chumi and Kaiki, who was the centre back down that side, it's been so difficult to cope with him.
And Kaiki, I think, blocked that with a delicate area, so he needed a few seconds to recompose himself. We've got a collision. Is that Benzema who's down?
It's Benzema, yeah. It's Benzema who was knocked down, and he didn't expect that because it came from his back.
Yeah, it was Sultan Babic who just ran straight into him, trying to follow Rudiger. And I don't think he even knew Benzema was there either. He was just looking at Rudiger.
Yeah. That was an unintended block. And
yes.
Rudiger.
By Benzema, a sort of basketball move. As it comes in now, and Rudiger throwing himself at it. Real Madrid asking for a corner, but they don't get it. And so
now is when the two substitutions will take place. Ramazani will be replaced. No, Sadik, sorry. Sadik will be the player replaced, and Ramazani too. So these two will be replaced by Diego Sousa and José Carlos Laza.
Okay, so will this be the last time for Umar Sadik to make way for Almeria, the centre of a lot of transfer speculation? May well be on his way for around 30 million, quite probably to Villarreal in the next few days.
Well, the speculation of Getafe as well. I made an offer for him.
What a summer they've had in the window.
Yeah.
And anyway, he's off for now, as is Ramazani. On comes...
Fair play to Sadik and his professionalism playing tonight, knowing that, you know, that he might not be there.
And playing
in a few days.
properly as well.
Yeah.
He's put himself into it.
Yeah, absolutely. And this man here making a difference. What a game he's had. Obviously, the effort was huge, and they need fresh legs up there with Diego Sousa and Lazo.
Well, Lazo is a left-sided player who looks like he's going to be patrolling that flank It's very much a 5-4-1 now with Sosa, the other sub, up on his own. Valverde for Mendy, and now Modric threads it through, and even his teammates weren't ready for that bit of invention.
No, and I'm trying to understand what he tried to do, because he's such a genius that I don't know if that was intended to find Benzema. I think it's Casemiro and Alaba ready.
Yes, Casemiro and Alaba are getting prepared, and they will be the next substitutions for Carlo Ancelotti.
Look at those attacks down the left. That's incredible. 4 attacks down the right, 31 down the left-hand side for Real Madrid. And that shows what we were talking about a couple of minutes ago, that when you're up against Vinicius, it's relentless.
Yeah.
Now here's a good first contribution from Sosa. Lovely control and keeping possession, which Almeria would love to do for a while. They've not been able to do in this second half much. Samu Costa opens up a little for the strike from Lazio. And straight at Thibaut Courtois. Comfortable gather, and quickly he rolls it forward for Real Madrid to get on the attack again. And guess who's going to lead the attack again? Vinicius. Getting it back from Mendy. And now Modric. Well, Almeria will be happy to keep the ball here, but it's preventing the further thrust towards the penalty area that they've got to concentrate on. Its concentration is so important, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, because when you're tired, you tend to lose that concentration and focus. Look at Hazard's flicks. And
there was a great dummy on that occasion, and Rodrigo Eli having to foul Modric, who was running into a shooting position.
I'm sure Alaba wants to come on now and take the free kick. Perfect for a left-footed player.
It will certainly
the substitution will take place. It's Ferland Mendy, the player who will be replaced by David Alaba, and at the moment it will be the only substitution for Carlo Ancelotti. So he decided Casemiro. It wasn't his time yet.
So Mendy off, Alaba on. We'll see if it's a straight swap at left back, and we'll see before that if he's come on to say, I'm taking this.
Well,
he wants to.
He's gone for it.
As you say, left foot. Perfect side. Perfect distance as well.
Yeah.
And you've got a man lying down behind the wall. Benzema and Cruz fancy it as well. Would you rather come on and get into the rhythm of the game before you take a free kick like this?
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. Your first touch, what if he scores? There's no better introduction.
That's true. There is literally no better introduction. And let's see, he is going to shoot.
Look
and he is going to score. Unbelievable. David Alaba, first touch off the bench. It grazed the inside of the post on the way in, and Real Madrid have turned a 1-0 deficit into a 2-1 lead. And what a story for David Alaba to tell for years to come. Remember that time I came on and scored with my very first touch?
So when I saw the free kick, I thought, hey, Alaba, I'm sure he wants to come on now and take that. And this is exactly what happened. And what an introduction. And what a quality play. I mean, he doesn't need to warm up, Andy. He doesn't need to get into the rhythm of the game.
Yeah, that was my question to you. Surely you'd want to, get loosened up a little. Nah.
Look at that. I mean,
perfect.
Unbelievable. And he's supposed to be a centre-back. Obviously, he will join at left-back now, replacing Ferland Mendy. And when you see Real Madrid, they're drawing away against newly promoted Almeria. The two substitutes will be Casemiro and Alaba. You think they're defensive substitutions? Well, not really. Look at this.
Well, that was a good substitution, wasn't it, Carlo? If I praised him slightly for the early one, which allowed Vazquez to get forward a bit more, and he ended up getting onto a loose ball and scoring the equaliser. You can't get a more inspired change than that. He was bringing him on anyway, obviously. And it will go straight to the drinks break.
And now he has time to rest as well.
Well, why don't they just take him off now? So, my job is done. So Almeria now then have to somehow regather themselves and find a way of getting back into this when they've just taken off their most dangerous two attackers as well, Ramazani and Sadiq, off the field. And look at that possession in the last 15 minutes. Real Madrid have been dominating it, and what a challenge now, what a tough ask on Almeria to somehow find a way back into the game.
And the thing is that 71% of possession, most of it is in Almeria's half as well. You can see Real Madrid getting into good areas a lot easier, compared to the first half.
I reckon about 68% of that 71% was Vinicius running at them.
Those 35 times he's been running at Chumi.
As we see again, the perfect introduction for David Alaba.
Oh, that's great.
It's almost like an American football field goal kicker, isn't it? You just come on for the glory. And Alaba did it brilliantly. It was you couldn't place that free kick better if you graze the inside of the post. That's unstoppable. And so now we'll see Alaba on the left back position, as you said, and he got to be feeling pretty good about himself, having given his team the lead. And it's so hard for Almeria, not just psychologically but physically, because they put so much effort into this game.
Yeah, mentally. Obviously, you could see that as soon as Real Madrid scored, Almeria's energy levels were going to drop, and that this setback just before the cooling break as well. You know, when you have time to regroup, Real Madrid did that. This is what champions do. I mean, they bring in a defender, and the defender scores a worldie from a free kick.
And Jamie, I imagine down on the touchline, Real Madrid's bench quite enjoyed that.
They really enjoyed that, and the 1,000 Real Madrid fans that are just behind me really enjoyed that, starting to sing "Así gana el Madrid." This is how Real Madrid wins, and Rubi will make his last substitutions. It will be a double substitution. Francisco Portillo and Arnau Puigmal, two midfielders prepared to participate tonight.
So fresh legs will be coming onto the scene for Almeria for the final 10 minutes or so, as they try to find something to give them a share of the spoils here.
I think that Samu Costa has had cramps for a while. Let's see if the two midfielders, Aguaras and Samu Costa, the ones being replaced, or Rubi goes for a change of system.
It is all very comfortable for the visitors at the moment. They're resuming their command of possession. Benzema pulling onto the left here. Yeah, but Almeria just can't get close to them at the moment, can they?
Well, you can see Real Madrid, you know, with players really close to each other. Then when they want to accelerate, they do. Close control, quality.
Aguara seems to have signalled that he might need to come off as Benzema runs into the area. I think he was trying to flick it first time to Vinicius, wasn't he?
Yeah, and it would have been fantastic as well, because saw the run from Vini. You can see he's not happy with his touch.
Yeah, but for the first time tonight, Real Madrid are enjoying themselves now. They're comfortable, expressing themselves, and they might have another chance here as Kroos fires it across the box, blocked by Rodrigo Eli. And now Lazzo will try and make something happen for Almeria, but he can't quite keep it in. Just a reminder as well, Andrea, not that you need to be reminded, but David Alaba, free transfer from Bayern Munich. What a signing that was just over a year ago.
Well, when everyone was panicking, really, that Varane and Ramos were leaving the club, well, they signed a certain David Alaba.
And do you think those last second instructions were put the free kick just inside the right-hand post, near the top, and just graze the post with it? Yeah. They say that's where I told him to put it.
Yeah, exactly.
And now the substitutions will take place. Íñigo Eguaras will be replaced by Francisco Portillo. And Kaiki is the other player replaced. He will be replaced by Arnau Puigmal.
We'll see whether that is a change in system, with a defender coming off, and entering the action is Puigmal, who is
I saw
a central midfielder normally.
Sorry, Andy.
Go on.
I saw one of the assistants from Rubi's pulling four fingers up in the air. Maybe it's a back line of four they want now.
I think one defender's gone, and Puigmal, a midfielder. Now we'll see Portillo, who's an attacking midfielder as well. Let's see if he joins in that front line of 3. But yeah, they go.
There he is on the ball.
They go to a back 4. And now Puigmal is another player with a Man United past.
Yep, Espanyol as well initially, and then moved to United in 2017. Back to Spain to join Almeria last summer as Spain under-19 international. 21 years of age. So let's see if he can make a name for himself.
And there we see Casemiro prepared to come in. Ancelotti will also make his last 2 substitutions, Casemiro and Dani Ceballos.
There's been speculation about his future as well, Dani Ceballos, but still there for now. And he does seem to be a player that Carlo Ancelotti trusts. He towards the end of last season, in particular, Andre was getting quite a lot of playing time.
And he earned that playing time as well, because he was out of Real Madrid plans. And he was nowhere near first team action. And then through training, through working hard, convinced Ancelotti to give him those chances.
All the Real Madrid fans that are here standing up, giving an ovation to Vinicius Junior, which is one of the players replaced Toni Kroos, who is the player that has played his last seconds of this game.
Well, he deserves that ovation, doesn't he? We've been talking about him all night. It's not just his skill on the ball, it's his personality and his drive to say, I can make things happen for us. Give me the ball.
Yeah, and one thing that I really like is with a smile in his face as well. And then you remember not long ago seeing him crying on the pitch. So transformation of Vini has been phenomenal with Carlo Ancelotti.
Well, that breakthrough season he had last year was fantastic, wasn't it? And he played very much a big role in this revival today, as we saw with the constant pressure he exerted, and in the end one of his runs leading to the equaliser. And Eden Hazard has moved out to the left wing now, his more accustomed position. Valverde on the right wing. Casemiro, Modric and Ceballos as the 3 in midfield. Here's Akieme. Haven't seen too much of him coming forward yet today. He is capable of it though, isn't he?
Yeah. Yes, he is, but obviously, you know, he's done well, because we've only seen Real Madrid attacking on the left. I don't know if it's down to Akieme or because Vini was playing on the left, but you know, Almeria have kept Valverde at least.
Good run made by Latho. Laid back into midfield. Cross coming in, had to be dealt with by Nacho, because just behind him was Sosa. And for the first time in this second half, really, there's a cry of encouragement from Almeria fans, thinking, well, maybe we can.
Maybe, yeah, a good ball by Curro.
Here's Akieme playing it forward for Puigmal. Men in the middle, cuts it back. Shot taken on, it's going to fall loose for Curro Sanchez, straight at Courtois. What a chance for Curro Sanchez. If he put it either side of Courtois, it may well have been the equaliser.
And if it would have fallen into his left foot as well, it would have been a better chance for Almeria. He tried at half volley with his weaker right foot and couldn't really hit it properly, but good reaction from Almeria. Now Puigmal down the left, the shot from Lazo blocked, and then Curro with a great chance. It's not over yet.
And that stat shows, doesn't it, that Courtois has been fairly busy today. 5 saves he's made, beaten once as well by Ramazani early on, and obviously Real Madrid have had most of the play, but by no means have they had it all their own way. Another goal would surely finish it off, and Hazard was trying to make that happen before he was unceremoniously bundled over by Puigmal, who gets rightly a yellow card.
Good turn again by Eden Hazard. Is very good at receiving the ball with his back to goal, and then, you know, quick to turn.
Yeah, he's looked bright since he's come on. Maybe this will be the season for him. Only 6 goals in 3 seasons. That really is an abysmal return for a player of his quality. 6 goals in 3 seasons.
Yeah.
And of course he's missed a lot of games with injuries, but that's nothing like what you would expect and what he would expect of himself.
No, absolutely. I mean, when he signed for Real Madrid and wearing that number 7 shirt, we all thought it was going to be important for the club. He's a superstar, Andy. I mean, the level he showed at Chelsea, he was one of the best players in the world. So he hasn't forgotten how to play football.
Just feel he needs games and to stay fit. There've been odd periods during the last 3 years where he has started to look really good. As we see again, that chance was a good one, wasn't it?
Very good chance, yeah.
But as you said, on his weaker foot, he didn't look that confident striking it.
He went with the inside of his right boot. When you're left-footed, this is what you do when you hit it with your weaker foot. Otherwise, it would have gone lasers, power, but didn't trust this.
He just wanted to control it, didn't he?
Yeah.
Now, Hazard finding Casemiro. Nacho for Casemiro. And Real Madrid would love to keep ball here. 3 minutes of normal time to play. We'll probably have around 5 added on. We did have the cooling break, remember, plus the various substitutions. But really well worked here by the visitors out to Valverde, who will go inside now, away from Latho, away from Samu, to find Ceballos. Benzema, as Alaba moving outside him. Looks for Benzema, it's a little too deep. Lucas Vázquez coming in, fine try. Oh, nearly an own goal by Akiemi, but quick reactions by Fernando to swing his leg at it and make sure it wasn't a goal to really sentence this match. There might be more chances though, as the reigning champions come forward again. Valverde fouled by Rodrigo Eli. What have you seen in Almeria today, Andrea, to give you hope or otherwise for the remainder of the season, bearing in mind, I guess, that they're likely to lose their key striker, Umar Sadiq, but they've got other players they've already signed who they will be able to register at some point soon, they hope.
Yeah, of course. The likes of Leo Baptistao, as obviously said, obviously Fernando's had a good game, but I'm expecting Pacheco to be the #1 goalkeeper. I think Kaiki has been impressive. The defensive line, Rodrigo Eli, has been really good. Robertone, it lasted 55 minutes, but the energy shown, was very promising. Enough in the squad personality, because in the first half they started brightly. They imposed themselves at times, and obviously they took risks playing from the back, but it paid off. The goal from Ramazani was sensational. Eguaras, a very good performance in midfield, so promising. I think that, let's see how it finishes, but lots of positives to take from a game that, you said it at the beginning, that even Turkey or Sheikh said, listen, if we lose badly, we expect it. So it hasn't really happened.
They certainly haven't lost badly, have they?
No.
They've given a good account of themselves and led Real Madrid, as we see there, for nearly an hour before Lucas Vázquez levelled it up, and then David Alaba came off the bench to score with his first touch. Here's Hazard combining with Benzema. But Almeria will try to come forward now as it drops loose to Samu Costa. Maybe this game will have a late twist yet. There's a good turn by Portillo. Can he work it out to the right? He can. Curo Sanchez. And now back to Samu Costa. Want to work the ball into a good crossing position. That's what Akiemi will look for now, and it took a bit of a deflection, I think, which meant Rudiger had to dive towards goal, and 6 minutes of added time. And here's a corner. They're still in with a chance.
Yeah, and in a few minutes you want to see the goalkeeper as well.
I always want to see the keeper coming up for a call, you know it. Go on, it's stoppage time now.
Maybe it's a little bit too early for it.
It's one of my favourite things in football, definitely, when a keeper comes up. Shame he's not there now, but his work short for Latho, who'll send it back for Portillo. Takes the deflection, and it'll be another corner. So now surely it's time for Fernando. He's had such a good game at one end between the posts for Almeria. They Don't send him up yet, but they do have plenty in the middle, waiting for the delivery from Curro Sanchez.
Look at Courtois' position. Very open, ready to come out.
Oh, but it was onto the head, though, of Chumi.
Chumi, yeah.
Decent chance for him.
Yeah, bad defending, I have to say.
It seemed the only competitor to win that in the air were his own teammates. Some complaints from the Almeria fans. Is that for some time wasting, Jamie? What went on there?
Yes, it was for time wasting. They understand that Courtois took a lot of time to put the ball back in play.
It can't be kept in play here by Casemiro, so Akiemi will take the throw in quickly to Portillo. And there are 4 minutes of added time remaining for Almeria to try and get back on level terms against the champions. Portillo, laid off by Sousa. Quite a lot of contact on Lazo, and enough for the referee to blow the whistle.
And that's a needless foul, really, for Casemiro.
Wasn't really going anywhere, was he, Lazo? But it allows them to send the big men forward again. Babic is up. Rodrigo Eli. Chumi, who had that headed chance from the corner. Sousa. The fans lift the volume, trying to lift their team as Curro sends it in. And it's a powerful header from Rodrigo Eli. And it's straight at Courtois. 2 headed opportunities for Almeria, and that was a good one because he attacked it in full stride, unchallenged.
Unchallenged, yeah.
Should have done better, shouldn't he?
Yeah, I think that obviously the power was there, but the direction was too easy for Courtois to save it. Good delivery from Curro as well.
And once again, not great defending.
No.
As it had been on the previous corner. But Real Madrid survive and still have their lead. And they have possession with Ceballos flicking it down the line for Alaba. Across comes Puigmal. Oh, and Fernando wayward with the pass, and what that does is not only loses possession for Almeria, but it allows Real Madrid to take the majority of the time out of the game, the time that remains. But here's that chance for Rodrigo Eli, attacking it in full stride, central defender, nice height for him.
You can see that kind of the ball slips over his forehead. You can see that, you know, he can't hit it properly and cleanly. But it was a great chance.
They are able to come forward now, though, as Sousa picks it up on the left. And it's Portillo. And with Puigmal cutting it back, and it will run through to Courtois. And no question that that was a back pass, so he's able to fall on the ball and pick it up. But Ruby there will be disappointed to come away with no points, but he'll be encouraged as well by the spirit and quality shown by his team today.
Yeah, and obviously the reaction they're having now. They're tired, they're knackered, they've been running after the ball, after Real Madrid players, and they're still going.
And it's Rodrigo Eli who's surging forward from the back.
Eli's been excellent, hasn't he?
He has. He has. A shame he didn't make more of that chance that he would expect to. At least force Courtois into a harder save. But there's still time. Not much of it, but one more attack. Portillo. Good challenge by Nacho. And Ceballos will try and keep possession for his team. Lovely layoff from Benzema to Casemiro. And worked out nicely into space for Valverde. And that should be it now, you would think. One more attack for Real Madrid. Lucas Vázquez, though, can't find Valverde, so with just a matter of seconds remaining, Samu sends it forward. Rudiger initially miscontrols, but is then able to redeem that, get it back to Courtois. And there indeed is the final whistle. Real Madrid celebrate, but they really had to work hard for that today. The champions up and running, but it wasn't easy.
No, it wasn't easy at all, Andy. A very difficult game. Almeria started brightly with a fantastic goal from Ramazani, but then in the second half, with the introduction of Modric, Real Madrid improved massively, and then this man